I helped my best friend get married. Then I found the photos she took with my husband. Lily and I met when we were 11 years old. She was a new girl with the purple hair clip and the ripped leggings, sitting alone during recess, meticulously pulling apart a grilled cheese sandwich. I was a loudmouth who sat next to her and said, "You look like a Hot Topic model who got lost." She smirked. I gave her half my cookie. We've been inseparable ever since. 15 years of friendship. 15 years of sleepovers, secrets, inside jokes, and shared dreams. We planned to live in New York together after college. Didn't happen. She stayed in San Diego for a guy. I stayed in L.A. for work. We joked about adopting a dog together, or maybe just a plant. She called my mom Mama J, and I called her Grandma Yaya. We cried together when her dad died in 2017. We laughed until we couldn't breathe during that trip to Miami, where we both accidentally got sunburns. She was my person, which is why I introduced her Mark. Lily and I met when we were 11 years old. She was a new girl with the purple hair clip and the ripped leggings, sitting alone during recess, meticulously pulling apart a grilled cheese sandwich. I was a loudmouth who sat next to her and said, "You look like a Hot Topic model who got lost." She smirked. I gave her half my cookie. We've been inseparable ever since. 15 years of friendship. 15 years of sleepovers, secrets, inside jokes, and shared dreams. We'd planned to live in New York together after college. Didn't happen. She stayed in San Diego for a guy. I stayed in L.A. for work. We joked about adopting a dog together, or maybe just a plant. She called my mom Mama J, and I called her Grandma Yaya. We cried together when her dad died in 2017. We laughed until we couldn't breathe during that trip to Miami, where we both accidentally got sun poisoning and spent 2 days wrapped in aloe vera and regret. She was my person, which is why I introduced her Mark. There were moments, little ones, too small to notice when you're wearing rose-colored glasses, like the time Lily and I were watching The Office, and I caught her texting under the blanket, smiling at her phone. I asked who it was, and she said, "Just Tinder trash." Then she asked if Mark was coming over, or when Mark picked me up from her apartment after a wine night, and they both acted like they'd had some hilarious private joke while I was in the bathroom, or the way she'd always ask if he was coming to girls' night. Always. But it's easy to brush those things off when you love people, when you trust them. You make excuses, not because you're stupid, but because you believe. I thought I was lucky. I had a best friend and a husband who got along. What more could I ask for? God, I hate that version of me now. So eager to believe I was safe. Untouchable. Chosen. I was the maid of honor at Lily's wedding. I helped her pick the venue. I made her bouquet by hand. She said she wanted something imperfect like us. I gave a speech that made her mom cry. I held her train while she peed. And when Mark gave a toast, my husband, giving a toast at her wedding, he said, "Lily, you're the kind of person who makes everyone around you better. Thank you for showing us all what love looks like." He didn't look at me once when he said it. The first Real crack appeared on a Thursday night. It was one of those late winter evenings when the sky turns that ugly bluish gray and the streetlights come on too early. I had just gotten home from work, exhausted, emotionally drained from back-to-back meetings and a passive-aggressive email war with my boss. I was still in heels. Mark was sitting on the couch, his laptop open, watching something on YouTube with the volume too low to hear, but too loud to ignore. I kissed his cheek, dropped my bag, and said, "Want Thai or pizza tonight?" He didn't look up. Lily says that new Thai place on Fairfax is garbage. I blinked. "Okay, was just asking what you wanted." "Oh, right. Whatever you want's fine." It wasn't the comment. It wasn't even the fact that he talked to Lily that day without mentioning it. It was the way he said her name, casually, like an afterthought. like they'd had a whole conversation that didn't include me. I tried not to dwell on it, but it stuck like a burr in my brain. After that, it started happening more often. Little things, tiny details, like the time Lily told me about a movie she saw, one I didn't even know was out yet. Mark told me to watch it, she said, waving a hand like it was no big deal. He said it reminded him of me. I laughed. Weird. He never even mentioned it to me. Oh, maybe I'm mixing it up. And then there were the birthdays. I planned a surprise dinner for Mark's 32nd. I coordinated schedules, made reservations, even ordered a custom cake with dumb inside joke about a podcast he liked. Lily showed up 15 minutes early with a gift in a silver bag, a leather-bound edition of Dune, his favorite book, first print, signed. I didn't even know he liked signed books. Where the hell did you find this? He asked, turning it over like it was made of gold. She smiled. Just lucky, I guess. That night, when I crawled into bed with him, I asked, why didn't you ever tell me you wanted a signed copy of Dune? He shrugged. I didn't think it mattered. It matters to me. He turned off the lamp without another word. I started watching them more closely after that. At parties, dinners, group hangouts. There was nothing overt, just small signals, like two people who knew something the rest of the U.S. didn't, like the way they laughed at each other's jokes before the punchline, or how their body language synced up, leaning in when one leaned, folding arms at the same time, mirroring without meaning to. It's a psychological thing. It happens when people are emotionally in tune, or when they're falling in love. But again, nothing provable. Just vibes, gut feelings. And gut feelings can make you feel crazy when no one else sees what you see. I started to think I was jealous. Not of Lily, not really. Just jealous of how close she and Mark had become. And ashamed that I even felt jealous. Because this was Lily. She was family. So I kept swallowing the discomfort. Again, and again, and again. The Rayall kicker came at Lily's bachelorette party. It was me, Lily, two college friends of hers, Jessica and Kayla, and one of her new work friends, Amber. We rented a cabin in the mountains. Her idea, not mine. No strippers, she said. I want charcuterie and board games, not glitter and regret. It was actually kind of perfect. We drank too much wine, played a filthy version of Cards Against Humanity, roasted each other over old college stories. Around midnight, Kayla passed out on the couch, and Amber was too drunk to move. Lily and I ended up outside on the deck, wrapped in blankets, watching the pine trees sway. She took a deep sip of her wine and said, "You ever wonder if you're marrying the wrong person?" The question didn't hit me right away. I laughed. I hope not. You're getting married in 3 weeks. She didn't smile. Then she said something I'll never forget. She whispered it like a prayer, and a confession rolled into one. Sometimes I think the person who's best for you isn't the one who makes you laugh. It's the one who knows what you look like when you cry and doesn't leave. I didn't know what to say to that, so I said nothing. I just clinked my glass against hers and stared into the trees. Looking back now, I see it for what it was, a breadcrumb, a little piece of truth she dropped into the silence to see if I'd follow it. But I didn't. I didn't want to, because if I did, I'd have to accept what was right in front of me. And I wasn't ready to break my own heart yet. After the honeymoon, Lily and her new husband moved into a loft downtown. We still saw each other, but not as much. She said she was nesting. I figured she needed space. Mark and I were going through our own stuff anyway. His job got more demanding, and we started fighting over stupid things like dishes, weekend plans, sex, or the lack of it. We were still us, just worn down, routine, tired, until one night I borrowed Lily's old camera. I was planning a surprise photo collage for Mark's birthday. I remembered Lily had an old DSLR she wasn't using. I texted her asking to borrow it, and she told me it was in a storage bin in her guest room closet. Take whatever, she said. I haven't used it since before the wedding. So I went. She wasn't home. Her husband let me in, told me she was out running errands. I found the camera where she said it'd be, along with a box of old notebooks and souvenirs from trips we'd taken together. I brought it home, flipped it on, and scrolled through the gallery. Wedding prep, selfies, random brunch pics, a blurry photo of me mid-laugh, and then folder, Vegas 2022. I don't remember her ever going to Vegas. I clicked it open. The first image was innocent. A picture of her at a rooftop bar. Then one of a hotel bed. A bottle of champagne. A photo of her hand holding someone else's. Thumb brushing knuckle. And then Mark, smiling, shirtless, in the hotel mirror behind her. I couldn't breathe. Not in the dramatic movie kind of way, but in the real way where your lung sees and your hands start to tingle, where the world gets very, very still and your heart sounds like a hammer. I clicked through the rest like someone possessed. Mark and Lily at dinner. Mark and Lily in bed. Mark asleep. Lily taking a selfie with her head on his chest. A video, her whispering, I love you. I wish it could always be just us. I dropped the camera, literally, onto the hardwood floor. Then I vomited in the kitchen sink. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't cry either, not really. I just sat at the kitchen table with the camera in front of me, staring at it like it might explain itself, like it might suddenly play a message that said, this was all a mistake, a misunderstanding, a glitch in reality. Don't worry, everything's fine. But it didn't. The photos were still there. The video was still there. Mark and Lily, the two people I would have taken bullets for, were in bed together, laughing, tangled in sheets, whispering, I love yous like they belonged to each other. I felt hollow, like something important had been scooped out of me while I wasn't looking. Sometime around 4 a.m., I opened a Word document and made a list. I titled it, Things That Make Sense Now. I needed something to do with my hands. I needed logic, not emotion, because emotion was fire, and fire was too close to the edge. I started writing. Vegas 2022. I was in Denver for a work trip. Lily canceled our brunch that weekend. Mark told me he was on a guy's weekend. Never showed photos. Said it was boring. Lily posted nothing that weekend. Weird for her. The inside joke about the hotel robes, that started after that trip. The song, Take Me to Church, she added it to a Spotify playlist, not mine. The way she paused when I said, I trust you with my life. The list got longer. It felt like it would never stop growing. At 5:43 a.m., I heard the front door unlock. Mark was home. He had a late shift the night before, working on a pitch, he said. I watched him set his keys down, loosen his tie, and head to the kitchen. I didn't say a word. I just turned the camera toward him and hit play. The video loaded. There she was, Lily, lying in a hotel bed, hair messy, one arm stretched out toward the lens. I love you, she whispered, smiling. I wish it could always be just us. Mark froze. He didn't blink, didn't move. His face didn't even register panic. Just this numb, dead-eyed silence, like someone had pulled the plug on him. Say something, I said. He opened his mouth, closed it again. Then, it's not what you think. A laugh exploded out of me, sharp, bitter, involuntary. Really? Because I think my best friend has been king my husband for over a year, possibly longer. But sure, Mark, explain how it's not that. He sat down slowly, like the air had turned thick and heavy and impossible to move through. It was a mistake. No, a mistake is forgetting an anniversary. This, this was a choice. Over and over again. He didn't deny it. Not really. He just buried his face in his hands and whispered, it didn't mean anything. God, that line. The one every coward hides behind when they're caught. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw the camera at his face, or at least the coffee mug sitting next to me. But I didn't. I just looked at him and asked, was it just Vegas? He didn't answer. That was the answer. He tried to apologize. He tried to spin it. Said it started after a fight we had, that he was drunk, that he didn't know how to stop once it started. She needed someone. I didn't mean to fall for her. That was the moment my heart officially shattered. I remember standing up and saying, you fell for her? While you were married to me. He said nothing. So I left.